in this week's Stolen Time. Eating. Seems vague, but when all you've been doing is giving the baby boob or milk, I guess formula, it really is that basic. You know, when it starts, you're like, now he's eating. Not just, I mean, he is eating, obviously, the other stuff, but it's not the same. So, there's a whole, so it's like, I'm like, will this ever end? It's like the fucking learning that has to take place. I'm just so over it. I'm so fucking over it, except that it's my personality to delve and to go deep and to understand. And so it's almost like I can't fucking help myself. I can't be like, let's just go with the flow. Let's just see what happens. Like everything I'm going to explore, I'm going to find out, I'm going to research, I'm going to investigate, I'm going to find what are the pros, what are the cons, what are the options. And I'm just like, oh my God, shh. Don't shoot me because I have a baby, but cover me with sand for a little while. I am so over it. And so, right, sleeping was the big one, right? Sleeping was the big research. And then the moment that kind of eases off begins this whole eating thing, which is a whole world that quickly becomes much more important than the fucking sleeping. It's fucking bananas. Okay, so there's basically two options when you have a baby who starts eating. One is something called baby-led weaning, which is basically where the baby eats by himself, or basically is trying to eat by himself. Mostly it's playing with food until he eventually gets the grasp of it, whatever, manages it. And the other one is basically, I guess, parent-led feeding, where you basically spoon feed the child. So I was very interested in, I mean, I didn't even question it. I was like, mush, here you go. And I was like giving him mush. And then I happened upon this idea of baby-led weaning, and I am fascinated. Okay, so I tried it out with like yogurt or something, and I basically just put some yogurt down and you let him like have at it. It was so amazing to witness the difference, because even though he was okay, I'm all over the place because it's actually been a while since he's been eating, so it's like I could have done this earlier, but other things took precedence, whatever it was. So the little baby is super into food. Maybe all babies are, I'm not sure, but he's like almost gorgy about it. Like he's like, I can't get enough, like not of everything, but when he likes something, he's like, he like demands more. And then the crazy thing that's happened, which is basically sucking me dry, is that every time he eats, he wants more boob, even if he just had boob. Halfway through whatever he's having, he'll start staring straight at my chest, and I'm like, what, my sweater? I mean, is that what you, my little string? And I'm like, here. And he's like, and he's like looking at my chest, and I'm like, oh my God. And so I pick him up and I bring him, and he's like, and he like has at my boobs again after, no joke, maybe having eaten like 20 minutes before. So this little baby's putting on weight. Like and then when he's done with my boob, he'll like look back at the food and he'll be like, what else can I get? And it's very beautiful and intense and tiring. I'm like, I feel like I really do feel a little bit like sucked dry, but in the most wonderful way. I have to say, I'm enjoying this. So then I happened upon this baby-led weaning, and I was like, what is this? And like what they say is basically the baby is like empowered, so they're not like waiting and demanding food. They self-regulate. There's like less risk of obesity or whatnot if you do that. And they participate at the table. Like you don't have to be like, I'm gonna eat later because, and so it's like a lot of independence, and then a lot of development of their muscles and hand-eye coordination, because they're learning to pick shit up. So the thing that stops most people, which is what's stopping me, is which I should have added this to my regrets, is that I wish I had taken a CPR fucking course before the baby came out, because who the fuck has time to, or possibility now, but who has time to go out and get a CPR course? Okay, I would have made time, but really difficult anyways. Now I'll have to somehow master it online, because one of the reasons that people stop with this baby-led weaning before they even start is the fear of the baby choking, because what you're doing is giving food that is grabbable. It has to be, grabbable and swallowable, and there's no teeth, so they can't chew until later, but it's somehow okay. And what you have to get over is that there's going to be a very strong activation of the gag reflex. So they're going to gag, and that's very different from choking. But when you are witnessing that, and it's COVID, and you don't know how long an ambulance is going to take, you're not like, he's gagging. Like, I'm terrified. So I've seen it happen just like a couple of times, and then and he was fine, and I was like, I was basically just like over his shoulder, like ready to do some like made up version of CPR, which is fucking bananas. So apparently many people stop because of the fear of choking, but apparently that fear is actually quite unmitigated. This doesn't really happen if you're careful and if you're mindful. The babies just don't choke. They really do gag and gag and gag and gag and get used to eating. So I'm going to continue the adventures of that once I do some online CPR course, and I think that's the path I'm going to take, because what I've witnessed in the baby eating, when he was eating like his own by himself and when I was feeding him, is that first of all, he was having fun. So a lot of time went by where he was just having fun with the food, and there was also this like the level of discovery of like, oh my god, this is on my fingers, this is on my face, this is all over me, I can grab it again, like, was amazing to witness. Like, it was probably one of the biggest pleasures that I've taken in watching him, like see him like go in this self-discovery, empowered self-discovery, was like super worth it. So I will continue. I just don't know how or when I'm gonna feel reassured. But eating is the whole thing, and I think what's also crazy is that it's happened much quicker than I realized. Like, I was looking at the registry, and it's like clothes and diaper this and diaper that, and I'm like, why didn't I add like eating shit? Because he's 7 months. Some babies start eating at 4 months, 5 months. Like, it happens very, very quick that these little babies start eating. And it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. So it came much faster than I realized. And there's a lot more to discover, and I can't wait. So far, he loves yogurt. He loves almond butter. He loves my smoothies. Yay! Which is really wonderful. He seems to be over soups. He was really into it at first, and I was like, and I have guiltily given him some of these, like, which is not, I think you're not supposed to do it. It's like these like spot squeezy tubes of vegetables, like puree. It's not organic and whatnot, but who cares how many nutrients are being retained really in something packaged like that? I don't know. But he just chomps it down, and it's been so nice to see him enjoying something. So I bought those containers to make my own food and hope that he likes it as much as the bought one. So anyways, that's it. Thank you for letting me steal your time. More to be discovered with eating. I can't wait. Dare I say I can't wait. It also has been a huge additional activity to do with the baby, which is amazing. Anyways, thank you for watching. Subscribe, hit the bell icon to get notified, and until next time, thank you.